When I chose to change, it kind of got to the point where I was in two places. I was in the old place was the block in drink and drugs, and the new place is where I wanted to go into the health and fitness industry. I need to step forward and I want to lead by example.
Sometimes all it takes is a small shift in perspective to unlock a whole new world. If you're ready for your shift, join the conversation. Hello, welcome to the Perspective Shift. With me here today, I have Keith Hager. And Keith is focusing on coaching directed towards men's mental health and helping them avoid burning out. So Keith, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for being on the show. And tell me a little bit about your coaching.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So basically, the men I work with or the coaching I work with, it's been a long process to get here through my own mental health struggles and healing. I realized over the years that I related to a lot of the issues men went through, especially my burnout, which completely ruined me. And after that, it took me nearly a year and a half to heal from this. And after I come back from that, I realized, because I took some time off as well, so I realized that in all the process of me traveling, I started meeting men and I had these deep conversations. And I started realizing that a lot of the struggles I had been through my own personal self, I was hearing the same thing back when I was sitting in front of some random stranger I just randomly met. So this is how it took it taking shape and turned into Holistic Brotherhood. And yeah, now I'm helping men from all over the world through burnout, connection issues, anxiety, depression, and helping them come back to their body and connect to themselves again and re-see their purpose and clear some of the old patterns they've had from maybe 20, 30, 40 years from their childhood. So it's a process which I love doing. It gives really deep work. It gives me a lot of gratitude and fulfillment to see my clients come in, you could say, feeling lost and broken, how I felt, and then to leave with a completely mindset shift. It's an incredible feeling. And as I said, this is my purpose in this world to help men improve their self, again, one step at a time, and generally not have to go through everything I had to go through.
Help expedite the process, hey?
Yeah, I mean, when I listen to people, the pain and suffering and the mental junk in my head I had to kind of go through, I don't want anybody to have to go through that, not even my worst enemy, because it's not a nice place to be thinking the thoughts of suicidal and you're worthless and you're nothing and just feeling constantly depressed, drained, and that you don't have a purpose here. I mean, to feel like that for anyone in the world is tough. So I don't want anybody to have to go through these things. And this is how the coaching come through and move
Okay.
forward.
That's an amazing feat to accomplish when you've been in that sort of state and now you're paying it forward and helping others. What do you think is the biggest or most common thread of what men are having issues with?
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, to pin it down to one is a bit of a struggle. Can we say
Maybe a
top
couple,
three?
but like just the one that stands out the most or
To be honest, I think a lot of it comes down to connection.
Hmm.
That is probably the biggest thing I start seeing. People are really struggling is connection. And I don't mean connection like having like just having the lads or this and this, is but connection to yourself, connecting to people on a deeper point so that people understand you when you say like, look, I'm struggling. I feel like this, I feel like that, or maybe this, and that to someone to see you and actually understand from a point of view from their heart, not just like, and this has happened to me before as well, not just like, you're going to be all right, pat on the shoulder, just come on, let's go. It's that, and then having that real connection with another man who knows the same struggles you're going through and basically can see your soul in so many ways.
Do they, when they're in that state, do they realize that they're struggling with connection?
Not necessarily, because a lot of times it's kind of masked with multiple things, especially with men, masked with addiction, masked with anxiety, masked with depression, multiple factors are working, there's stress, multiple factors kind of lead into like they kind of all cross over anyway, but the connection to the thing is literally back to yourself
Mm.
because we get stuck in our mind. And then when we're stuck in our mind, we're stressed, we're lost, we can't listen to what we need in our body. So we put everything one side And then we just carry on thinking that we need to move forward what essentially society tells us to do or what we think we should do. I need to do this, I need to do that. And so generally that connection comes first from ourselves, and then from there is like a close knit of like brothers who understand or who have been in that same situation and can relate and kind of like guide you like a band of brothers.
Okay. And so you're leading now the band of brothers. And what is your experience before your own shift in perspective with the mind and connection to yourself? What did you need to be believing to be living that kind of life?
It's a
And
very good
explain a little bit
question.
more about that kind of life.
Yeah, that's a very good question. If I think back, there's been multiple factors in my past, but one what really stands out is when I was fully disconnected from myself. I used to do a lot of drink and drugs to mask everything. And then when I fully quit that, I had to fully change my mind as well. Because otherwise, my mind would have slipped back to all the old habits I did to feel disconnected from the world. So for me to reconnect with myself and to focus and inspire myself to move forward, I had to change my mindset and move myself away from these bad habits. So that then started connecting myself through exercise, nutrition, connecting to healthy people, having a goal in my life. As these shifts maybe changed my perspective and kind of leveled my mindset, leveled my own self-worth up, and made me want to move forward.
Do you think it was just like one day you're like, I'm not doing this anymore, and then you took action before the mental shifts came, or did you have a mental shift first and then were able to take action?
I think it was a combination of both because during the phases of all my party and everything, it was getting to the point where I kind of knew I was destroying myself to the point where I'd get blackouts. I couldn't barely talk after the come downs. I felt like I was killing myself and everything was outweighing everything. And physically, I kind of knew it up here, but I didn't want to comprehend it. And it just got to one day where everything just felt so bad. The come down was so bad. I just had enough.
So was it
Literally,
kind of while you were in it, you were kind of like in a big state of denial?
it was a lot to do with blocking everything out, all the pain I was in, to numb all the pain. I do all the drink and drugs, and because it'd take so long for me to feel fully normal again, it'd take 3, 4 days.
Mm.
So I'd numb myself, and then the pattern would repeat again.
Could you
But
talk more about what the pain was that you were numbing out?
yeah, I was numbing out a lot of my childhood trauma, numbing out my abuse, numbing out all the abuse it threatened, like my dad's passing, the bullying, everything, the suicidal thoughts, everything. I didn't want to be here, basically. So everything got to a point when I was 18, I felt like, yay, I'm free, I can do what I want. Like I'm 18, I can drink. This is when everything kind of happened. But I didn't realize back then that I was in so much pain that for me just to live a normal life, I had to block everything.
So
So
if I'm understanding everything, you had a fairly traumatic childhood involving abuse, and you say your dad passed away when you were a kid as well, or is that
yeah,
wrong?
yeah, yeah. My dad passed when I was 16, so that was a pretty because he had an accident. So he's like one day one here and gone the next.
Mm,
So it kind of added on to the turmoil of everything I'd been through. So I think at this age, you don't really know what's kind of going on. It's only
yeah.
till I got later on, a little bit older in my I think it's about 24, 25 is when I made that shift.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you right. Is like all of that history kind of was the energy of it was still inside your body because it wasn't really being processed, right? And then you were like,
100%.
I don't want to feel this. So then, and this isn't something you thought logically, if I'm understanding, it's just kind of what happened. You weren't
Mm,
logically thinking, I don't want to feel all of this, so I'm going to numb out. You were just, how can I get through my day? And then
mm.
the drinking and the partying and the distractions is kind of what you did to alleviate, for lack of a better word, the issues that you had gone through.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Actually, when I chose to change, it kind of got to the point where I was in two places. I was in the old place was the blocking, drink and drugs. And the new place is where I wanted to go into the health and fitness industry. I need to step forward and I want to lead by example. And I can't be
Mm.
completely gone all the time if I'm trying to make other people like follow a healthy lifestyle. So that was another choice. I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go this way. So I actually had to make a choice. And by that choice, I was like, no, this is the choice I want. This is where I'm taking myself and moving these addictions. And I don't know if it was the best way to do it, but I moved like the bad addictions into the healthy addictions by being in the gym.
Mm.
So it was a switch. And then I was able, as the years went on, I was able to maintain the balance of the gym and everything.
What do you think you would have had to believe to stay in that lifestyle as long as you did? I know you believe at one time you said, I've had enough of this and you wanted to do something different
Mhm.
with your life. But what do you think you would have had to have believed while you were there to stay there as long as you did?
I think the belief in that as that past person, there wasn't any belief. It was literally to the point where I don't care anymore. That was the belief. I do not care. And
Mm.
then as I slowly started changing, the belief was like, actually, no, I do care. I see I make a little bit of a difference helping people in the gym. I believe I can do this. I believe I'm actually a good person to help someone. And that was the shift as well. I was like, no, actually, I
Mm.
want to do this. I believe I can help people in the gym. I enjoy it, so I'm gonna believe I'm gonna go that way. And it is like night or day. There wasn't much in between for me. It's like I believe I can do this and I'm gonna do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Once you made that commitment, it was like, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of a type of person it's all or nothing. So I'm either all in or all out. So for me, it was a good thing having that mindset and the type of person I am because if I didn't have that, I don't know if I would have been able to get out of where I was
Mm.
within myself. So yeah, it was that belief that I could make a change to people. It was actually more that I could help people more than it was actually my own thing. It was more that I believe I can help someone in losing weight or getting fit and the stuff I was doing then more than I could help myself. So that
Okay.
belief of helping someone else, it was actually pulled me out of the gutter.
Right. Isn't that interesting? The pull of helping others helped you help yourself.
Yeah, it's when you say it back to me, it's crazy to think
Right.
that I believed in others more than I do myself, and it pulled me out.
Is that the first time you've heard it back to you?
Yeah, yeah, it is actually. I'm like, when someone says it back to me, I'm like, oh yeah, it's the perspective. It's going to be something I have to sit on a little bit tonight and process, you know?
Yeah. It's a never-ending process, processing life as it comes and continues, hey?
Yeah, yeah, it's the that never-ending piece of string. It never stops.
Yeah. I look forward to it now. When I see something, I'm like, oh, I haven't thought of it like that yet. And it needs to go
Yeah,
through a new process. I actually look forward to them now, whereas before it would be like, oh my gosh, I have to untangle this web too.
yeah, I agree.
So, with the goal of helping others and moving forward in your own life and doing better things for yourself as well, how does that show up in your life now? How do you feel internally? How are your relationships? How's your business going? All of those kind of things that show up when you have a mindset change and a core belief change.
Definitely. I mean, once that belief changed, my life changed actually. It didn't happen like a click of a finger, but slowly I started feeling better in myself. The main thing is that the chatter in the head slowly calmed down, and that
Mm,
self-destructive like hate I had for myself slowly like started changing. I was able to like start processing it and kind of going through what I'd been through. And that when I started putting things to bed, it like internally it made me feel calmer in myself because my nervous
mm,
system, I think pretty much my whole life has been a wreck till about 34 probably 35. So I think on that perspective, that shift and then knowing that I'm actually here to help, like I know that is my purpose deep down, that I'm here to help people in any way I can. So that purpose, even if you asked me back then, like I knew I was here to help people. I just didn't fully comprehend how, in which way. So there's a
mhm.
big educational process along that way as well. So I think now, as I've become of age, wiser, as they say, it's made me a better human being actually, and it's made me relatable. When I speak to people, I can relate because I've been in the trenches. I haven't had it easy. And understanding people on that deeper level, it also makes me feel good inside, like I'm here for something worthwhile. Like I have my purpose is truly aligning with me. And so when these are aligning, it makes me feel worthy, you could say. If that's one word, it could be like worthy of my life, worthy to be here.
So, in one sense, I think I heard you say too, with that previous life, you actually had a sense of self-loathing. You hated yourself.
Mm.
And I think some people have that core belief and they don't realize they have it, but it shows up in the way that they're living their life,
Yeah, very true, very true.
right? You don't necessarily know the belief you're holding, but
Mhm.
now you feel a sense of self-worth in what you're putting out into the world and what you're able to give to others.
Yeah, and if, as I said, it's self-worth, it's feel also the appreciation of myself.
Mm.
Now, I can appreciate that the struggles I went through is actually aligned me to where I am now. And people, I don't know if, I mean, it's hard to say sometimes, like, am I grateful for everything I've been through? Because obviously it's not all been fun. But if I didn't go through these things, I wouldn't be sitting here now, the person I am. My mindset wouldn't be where it is now. It wouldn't be that I feel good. I generally feel good. I mean, I have my blips, but I generally feel good in myself. I feel good in my skin. I feel good that I have a purpose. I feel good with my mindset and where I'm going. This wouldn't be if I hadn't gone through where I've been. I don't know if I'd even be here if these things hadn't have gone through the way they played out.
And that kind of speaks to when you have that underlying belief that things are going to work out, even when you're going through the trenches, when you don't have that belief, it can be harder. And I'm assuming you had that hardness because you didn't have that light at the end of the tunnel. And that's kind of why I
Mm.
do the perspective shift is to help anybody who is in those trenches really see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And if you have that within you, it'll help make the trenches a little bit easier to traverse through.
Yeah, yeah, this is exactly hit the nail on the head there. At some point, you feel like there is no light, but
Hmm.
there always is a pinprick to kind of, there is a pinprick in all of us. It's just we don't always see this pinprick because it's so dark. But that one little string of life can be the line to pull you completely into the light. And it's crazy that one little perspective can shift everything in your life.
Hmm.
And it's happened to me once or twice through my life, especially under 30, it happened quite a lot. So it's really important to actually believe and take the time in yourself that you know deep down that you will be okay. You're just going through a blip, and everyone has the blips. Some blips are worse than others, but it's knowing that the storm will weather and the sun will come back.
Yeah, that's so true. For anyone going through the trenches now who maybe started watching this episode to relate with you, what would be the most significant piece of advice that you could give them to help them weather their storm?
Great question. I think the one piece of advice I would say, coming from where if I was back in the trenches, would be to reach out and feel you're not alone. Because through all the trenches I went through, I always felt alone. I always felt like it was me versus the world. And when you're in that trench, you feel like there is no one who understands you. And if you just reach out to the right people who have been in the trenches with you and been in the trenches before, they can bring you out of the trench as well. It's linking back to that connection, having that connection of someone who's been there who can help you through it. And this is something which is I deeply believe in is what I would have needed back in the day. And
Hmm.
this is definitely something I would say if you're in the trenches now and you feel there's no light at the end of the tunnel, just reach out to someone because there is someone out there who's gone through the trenches and is willing to put their arm out and bring you to where they are now.
That's fantastic. Is there anything else you would like to share?
A good question, actually. You're firing them out pretty good today. Um, it's everyone, it doesn't matter if you're male and female, we're always going to go through issues in life. And a lot of it stems deep down to being disconnected from ourselves and disconnected from even that the people we love. We don't actually sometimes realize that the people around us and who are the ones who care the most and can help us the most. And again, this is something I went through. My closest people, I didn't think they cared. When I reconnected later on as I got older, they were like, Keith, we were here. You just had to say. So sometimes, again, when you're in this, the closest people around you who care about you the most will be the one who will help you the most. And it's just understanding they care.
I keep hearing the word connection. So my question now is what can somebody do who is disconnected and through watching this show is thinking, oh, wow, I am disconnected, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to reconnect.
Mm.
What would be someone's first step?
Yeah, great question. First step, I have a support group if they need the support to reconnect with just a bunch of, again, I work with men specifically if they need to connect there. A support group is a great place to support where you can actually speak your mind and have people in the same boat as you. And realistically, even if you're not online, it's just about reaching out to someone and be like, hey, I need help. That one step. You don't need to understand what anything. It's just I need help. That is
Mm.
it.
In my experience, asking for help is really hard.
It can be. It's scary. It's very scary. And this is what stops a lot of people. They're scared that people are gonna push them away. They're scared that they're seen as weak if they do it. And actually, it's one of the bravest things you can do to turn around and say, look, I really need help. It's the opposite. It's actually it's the most brave thing you can do. It's not weak to say that. And
Mm.
actually, it's very vulnerable, and vulnerable is strength.
And that's a beautiful perspective shift to take away if anybody's listening to this, is asking for help is not weakness. And if you can turn that internally and realize that it's not weakness, it's strength, and really believe the strength that it takes to actually ask for help, then that would be a perspective shift that could change your life.
100%.
Well, Keith, thank you so much for coming on today. It was a short and sweet episode, and I hope if you got anything out of this show, I hope you reach out to Keith and see if his men's group can help you out. And otherwise, signing off and have a great day.
Thank you.